I'm feeling a little bit, I'm feeling reflective a little bit this evening. I'm reflecting a little bit on, the content, whatever, the stuff that I make, the stuff that I talk about here. And it comes from kind of like a faith-based, what am I talking about, right? I'm talking about like Bible stuff and Jewish stuff and the intersection of Jewish Christianity and like all of these things. The reality is that the heart of all of this, man, is that for me in my life, I've been in these communities, trafficking in these spaces, been in these communities, by dint of like kind of an interfaith background sort of a thing. The communities that I've been a part of have been very edifying. I've found meaning and some purpose and some values. And I should say that despite a whole life, and I mean that, like literally, a whole life of being in, I guess, what could be called religious spaces or something, never have those spaces been very dogmatic. And I don't want to just use that as like a hand wavy gesturing sort of dogmatic sort of a thing. What I mean very specifically is that from my mentors, from my guides, from my instructors, from my parents, it just has never been the case where it's like, you really need to think this specific thing, or you really got to believe this set of specific things, or you always really need to practice this particular way. Just to the credit of the communities that I've been a part, I would say to the credit. You may disagree with me, which is great, which maybe I'll say in a second here. To the credit of my parents and to the credit of my communities, I've just been in like really inclusive spaces for my whole life, which is awesome. I don't want to be too Pollyannish. It's not as though that like everything's, everything's been wonderful and I've never had hard questions and I've never been disappointed or something. That certainly isn't the case. But, in retrospect and in macro view, I've had a lot of latitude to ask difficult questions, to follow, streams of consciousness where they lead or something like this. And I've always had the encouragement and the support of those closest to me to learn, to explore, to study, to disagree, to seek some sort of understanding. It's just been so edifying for me to be allowed the latitude to be on a path where there's not many expectations beyond, some core principles of justice and acceptance and, do no harm and like, things like this, that we should serve others. And this has been a part of my life in different communities and in different traditions. And I've been around different communities and different traditions. My mom reminded me the other day that as early as middle school, I was like checking out books on world religions from the library. So it has been kind of an ongoing interest for me to get interested in the way that other people make meaning, and the way that other people find purpose, and the way the other people practice the things that are edifying to them in their lives. And I'm just so appreciative of all of that. When we talk a lot about the things that I talk a lot about, and I talk a lot about Judaism, I talk a lot about the intersection of Judaism and Christianity, I talk a lot about biblical criticism and these things. And I think I'm decent at thinking about these things. I hope that I am, because I really love it. And so, you sort of would like to be at least halfway decent at the things that you love to do. But you shouldn't let that stop you either, right? If you love to do it, and even if you're not that great, just keep doing it, which I think is fine as well. But I just, like I say, I'm just sort of like recording this with no particular end point in mind, other than just to say that very inclusive communities exist. And that in those communities, you can find social bonding, you can find social cohesion, you can find the sort of like magical thing that happens when a group of people are together thinking more deeply about the world around them. You can find daily rituals. I'm not super observant, but every single morning I actually walk outside and I take a deep breath and I say the Modeh Ani. I say a morning prayer every day. It's edifying to me. I'm just so fortunate to have been allowed, not even allowed, but to be encouraged to ask questions and to follow my study where it leads, and to like feel as though I myself am worthy and valuable no matter who I am or what I do or what I follow or what I believe, that just me, I'm good enough here alone and worthy and valued as I am. And that's something as I'm 42, we've got 3 kids. They're 12, 10, and 8 years old, and they're all boys. And this is something I wish for them, that they should feel so validated and worthy and loved and valued, regardless of what they do or who they are or, what they believe or anything like this. It's beautiful. And so I've been allowed in my life to find practices that bring value and bring meaning. And I've not been held to dogmatic standards. I've not been told that there's only certain specific ways to believe or to think things. It's been fine of my mentors and instructors and guides and teachers and whomever. It's been fine not to believe in God. It's been fine to believe in God. It's been fine to be undecided on God. I've just been allowed a lot of inclusivity, a lot of acceptance, a lot of latitude. And it's been beautiful in my life. And I think about the tragedy. That's a heavy-handed word. There are true tragedies in the world, and I don't know. It does sadden me. It wasn't until later in my life that I learned that my experience is a little bit unique. That many people who grew up in faith communities in particular were told, here's exactly how you have to think or behave or practice or whatever. And it's brought me sadness, because what I found is that those who I've met in my life who have been held to these sort of standards are those who have needed to get away from them. And I think it's interesting that I've been allowed to be in the community or not be in the community, and I wound up in the community, if that makes some sense. It's almost like the fact that I was allowed a tremendous amount of latitude kept me coming back to the sort of meaning-making practices that were sort of always there. It's a very beautiful thing. And so as a parent, I wish this for my kids, that they feel that love and acceptance and value and worth from us, that they feel the latitude to explore and to practice and to be who they are. And I hope that for you as well. I know I get on here and I make sometimes I make overwrought comments, sometimes or content. Sometimes I over theorize and over analyze, and I get a certain voice about me, and that's who I am. And so I can't deny who I am. That's how I get. That's who I am. But I also just want to say something very plain language here, which is that just radical inclusivity, man, is beautiful. And giving people the latitude to disagree and to think their own thoughts and beautiful. To do something that's completely different from what someone else is doing. May we just continue to give people permission and latitude and worth and value and love and acceptance and belonging. These are beautiful, beautiful values, whatever they're rooted in. If rooted in anything, if rooted in nothing, if rooted in simply the pro-social behavior of big primates like us. May we give that to each other. May we give that to the next generation, that they should feel so loved and accepted and the latitude to be who they are. Because what is there more beautiful to be in the world than to be who you are? And when you are being who you are, watch how your self-esteem is bolstered, and the pain can slowly be carried away, and the fear reduces. I think so much pain and fear and hatred and anger is because people do not feel affirmed in who they are. And so may you feel affirmed in who you are, and may you have teachers who guide you on that path, and may you guide others on the path to affirming who everyone is in the world. So with that, 10 minutes of kind of pausey content from me. I love you, fam. It's awesome to be able to do this, and that some of you all watch it. I'm out.